Katie from Northern Quilting, and today we are going to make this absolutely fab window suncatcher thingy, window decoration. I'm going to hang it up in my room, and then when it gets nice and sunny it should cast nice shadows in the room. And it's all just thread. It's just thread, and we use water-soluble fabric, water-soluble film, and there are two other sorts of film that I show you in the other two blah blah blah. There are two different types of two other different sorts of water-soluble fabric that I show you in the video, but this is just with one of them, so it's going to be another little series. And this is perfect to practice your crystal quilting on. If you are not brave enough to try it on your quilt yet, so we can test out all the fun designs on here, and it just washes away and keeps the design, so it's not scary, but it's really, really fun. And so we make this, and I've just put some thread. I'm going to put like an actual, like a thicker thread, but I don't know where that is right now. So I'm going to show you how to make this, and it's a bit different than what I originally planned, but I really like it. And I use different coloured on the top and the bottom, and look how cool it is. That's the turquoise coming through, so it makes it look green with the yellow. It's just really cool. So I'm going to show you how to make that, and you can make it as lacy or as dense if you want. And the best part is you get to use up all the extra threads that you have, you know, like when you cut the thread. So you get to use all the different threads that you've got left over, so they don't go in the bin. So we're using all the threads, and then you get even more at the end. So I'm going to show you how to make this, and it's going to be really fun. So come on and let's start the video. In this tutorial we are going to make some water-soluble thread sun catchers. So what you need is you need an embroidery hoop that fits your sewing machine. I've got this big one, and I've got this little one as well. So I'm going to show you two. You need some water-soluble material. You can get this see-through-y kind, or you can get this fabric-y kind. This one is called Solufleece. It's more expensive, but it is better. So I'm going to show you with both. So and also what you need is you need either a collection of scrap thread that you've saved from projects, or if you've got colourful bobbins, or if you've got a selection of colourful thread that you can just take some off straight from the spool. So I'm going to use the scrap threads since I'm going to use these up. These are just random bits and bobs. It doesn't matter if there's little bits of fabric in, but that's quite a lot. So like that, it doesn't matter if there's that. But so what I'm going to do first is set up the hoop. I'm going to show you with this water-soluble material, the see-through-y kind. So put your big hoop underneath and put your threads inside it. And I'm not going to use all of these threads. I'm just going to separate some. And I'm going to cut the thread up a little bit so I can detangle it from the rest of the group. Don't know what this thick one is. Remember, and for this project, the more threads that you have inside your hoop, the more dense your stitching has to be. You don't really need the threads. It's the sewing that is going to make it. It's just going to do that. It just holds all the threads together. So what I'm going to do is scooch that over some, cut that. I'm going to put another piece on the top. So I've got this design. I've got this, like, it's like kind of like your quilt sandwich. I want this thread. Okay, so, and then you add your inside hoop in. Now hopefully this is a good hoop. I don't think it's going to play. There we go, it is working. So what you need to make sure that it's super tight and you can screw the screw tighter. So I'm using my screw from a sewing machine. Just screw it tighter. You want it to be tight like a drum. It makes it easier so you can pull. So, and pull the threads, and then the fabric, sorry, and then you can cut around it slightly, and then you can keep these excess for another project. I suppose you could even sew them together to make a bigger one. Keep that in your box. Keep the water-soluble fabric in a box with a lid, an airtight container. It's like I've got, this is my big box full of these are all the scrappy bits, and I've got different types of water-soluble. This is a heavy-duty soluble. We might try that one too. And I've got some more of that in little bits, and you can draw on it in your Sharpie pen. You can't draw it on anything, you can't draw on it with anything too wet because it will dissolve. So if you was to use like your water-soluble pen, then you think, oh, that will be good because it's going to wash away anyway, but you don't want to do that because that pen is too wet and it will dissolve the fabric before you're ready. So you've got this, and I'm going to pull my different threads. I want to see what threads colours I've got inside. I've got some little fabric bits by accident, but that's okay. So I'm thinking I've not got much of this pinky coral, but I do have some, so I can use some of that extra. And I'm going to use up my colourful bobbins. So if you've got like bits on the end that you could take it off because you're not going to use that in your sewing machine, but you can use that for your putting the threads into the side. So let me see what colours I've got. Might use this turquoise. It doesn't matter if the colours don't technically go together because it's just all going to add to the fun of it, really. So I'm going to put the bobbin in and thread up the sewing machine and change to my free motion embroidery foot, and then we'll get cracking. And I think I might show you on my sketchbook what my idea is to do. See, you can have random threads like that and rip it off, break it off, and then just stick it in your pot. And I like buying these pots from TK Maxx with the fun patterns on, like this. This is another one I've got, and this one is a plant pot, but I like these because then I can just put loads of stuff in them and keep it and make it be useful for in my sewing room. So I'm going to thread the sewing machine up, get it all set up for sewing, and I'll meet you back here with my sketchbook. So you might want to grab a sketchbook and we can sketch out together, and we can sort of plan what we're going to do. So I'll meet you back in a minute. Okay, so what I've done in my sketchbook is I've drawn around the small embroidery hoop, and I'm not bothered that it overlaps. I wanted to show you as many different options as possible, and I just did the different colours because it's fun. So what I'm going to do is so imagine that this pen is the sewing. So I'm going to start somewhere in the middle just because that tends to be easier. Just going to do, and I'm going to do flowers because I like drawing flowers. And you have to go over it many times, because if you just do this, if that's your stitching, it doesn't stay very well. You want it to be defined shapes. So what we have to do, so if that's the line, you have to go around and 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 around like that on each of your lines, or you can go back and forth. But this tends to be, if you're having the machine stitched thread, not the scrappy threads, then you want it to be like this, because that creates the dense line and all of the stitches are overlapped. You just go around and around and around like that. It does take a long time to do each one, so what I like to do is stitch it around and go over it again. I like to do my whole design, so if that's that, then I can go from here and you can overlap it like that. So just all the way around. So imagine I've gone all the way around. So then what you do is you come back, this is what I like to do, and do the round and around and around and around. See? So what you can do is you don't have to have an actual design like this. You can just do you could do a spiral, you could go around and around and around. I'm just going to scribble it because it's easier on the pen, but you get what I mean. I don't think I've got like a felt tip pen, so this will have to do. I have a pink Sharpie pen, does that work? And then what you can do from that, you can do some of your quilting, so you could even go around in pebbles. Pretend that's pebbles. You could even just do pebbles all on it. Imagine those pebbles, or you could do like a loop-de-loop. You could do that in lots of different coloured threads. You could do some of your crystal quilting if you've watched that, which I hope you have, because it's very good, if I say so myself. We could do one of the let me think. Oh, my pen's died, that's annoying. So you could have it just like a crystal quilting, so you can do a loopy. And then you can do something fun in the background. Do it again. Like whatever you want to do, because as long as the lines are thick enough to stand out on their own, because I want this to be a new decoration for in my studio, or maybe even above my window in my bedroom. So I'm gonna hang it up. So I want it to be something, so I think like some sort of flowery thing, because I know it's only January, but we are getting into spring quite fast. Well, we will be in spring eventually, so we might as well start making things now. You know, you could do love hearts. Basically, think of this as, you know, any free motion quilting designs that you've been wanting to do but you've been scared because you don't know how they'll look, then use this as a way to test out those designs. You could do a different design in a different coloured thread. Just have a play and test it out, because it'll be fun. So that's the ideas. And there'll be different ideas in the blog post as well. And the battery's about to die in a minute, but I will show you some of the free motion things that I've done, the ones that I can find anyway, for the water-soluble, because it's really fun and I think you'll enjoy it. So just give it a go, and I'll show you in a minute once I change the battery. Okay, so this is one of the free motion water-soluble things that I've made before. This is, I did lots of positive words and it looks really, really cool, like while it was still in the hoop, but then I didn't make the stitching be so dense, so it's all just like squiggly squiggles, you know, like it's not so as I wanted it to be, but it's still fun. This one is one I made. You can see on the back I was trying to go for like a tree type thing. This is the back, and then this is the front with all the gold. I do prefer the back because you can see what it is, but that's fun. I did this one. This is one of the first ones that I did. This one is that I did in recent years that I've still got. This is some felting wool that I put in the hoop. Oh, I broke a bit off. Oh well. And then I went back in with hand stitching some crosses because I really like doing the crosses, and you can see on the back. So that's that one. And then this one is probably my most favourite and probably the most similar to what we're doing today. I had lots of threads and I quilted it like a flower mandala-y type thing, and stitched it, not quilted, you guys know what I mean. And this middle part is really dense, and then on the outside it was more curly, and this was before I discovered that way of stitching that I showed you to make it really dense even on the loopy bits. So it's a bit all tangled in, but it's really fun. And what I do, don't have my brew cup at the minute, but I use it as a coaster in my room, but not for a cup. I put like my nice trinkets on, you know, on my trinket shelves. I just took all these off. These are on my trinket shelves, the decorations. So that's what I use it for, to be a little coaster for my nice pots and things. So that's some examples of what you can do. So, and this big one as well, this is also, I think this is silk. I think this is some silk. I think I dyed that silk. But yeah, that's what all these are. This one is just thread. This is thread, stitch thread, and the wool for felting. This is what we're doing today type thing with the scrap fabrics and threads. And then this is with fabric as well, that's why it's more dense here, because of it was with actual fabric. And this was circles. This was before I knew that they were pebbles, but that's what that is, because it's easy to do, isn't it? So that's that. So let's get cracking on with the actual sewing, and we'll make some pretty decorations for our window. So I've set up a sewing machine now, and I'm going to start off with this in the centre. I'm going to pull that bottom thread up and lift the foot up because it makes it slightly easier. Pull up the bottom thread. So the machine's not listening to me. There we go. Put the needle back down. Put the foot back down. Hold on to those threads. There we go. Hold on to those threads. And see, this is what I mean, like all this excess thread can be put into your pot to store with when you want to do this next time. So I'm going to do put the needle down, and I'm going to cut the thread and stick the thread into the pot. I'm just going to draw out my design, and then I'm going to go back in with the stitching. So I'm going to let you watch that on fast forward, because you've seen me do this lots of times, and go back in with the fast forward, and then I'm going to do the other two with the different water soluble material, so that you can see when we wash it out at the end, you can see what they're like, all the different ones, so you can see which ones you want to get. Okay, so I finished the design now. It kind of went a bit looking just like circles, so it wasn't really what I wanted, so I just kind of went a bit crazy just because I thought I'll just show you what it's like anyway. So I'm gonna undo it from the hoop, and now this is the design. So you can trim closer to the edge, but I'm not going to do because I can't be bothered. And I've got this bowl of just warm water. It's gone a bit colder now, but you want warmer water than cooler water, and you just put it in, and you see already it's starting to dissolve away, and it gets all gross and sticky. I shouldn't have touched it, it's all sticky. So you just put this, is better in a running tap of water, but I'm just going to show you what to do. So you just put it in and give it a bit of a swirl. I am going to run it under the tap after I've shown you what to do. It's all sticky and gross. It's disgusting. I used to think it was gelatin, but it's not. It's polyvinyl alcohol. I don't know what that is, but it's chemical-y stuff. So you need to get rid of the globs. That's why it's best in a sink like this. So that's going to be on my window, well, in the studio or in my bedroom. I've not decided yet. So when it's dry, you can get somewhere flat to dry, place it somewhere flat like on the towel. And then when it's all dried and it's gone a bit stiff because you don't really wash it all out completely, you can do, or you can leave more on, but I'm gonna just try and pat it dry. So then when that's all dry, I'm gonna put a hanger on it, put some string through one of the loops, and then it's all done. But isn't that really cool? So you can see all the thread bits and bobs still in it, and you can see the thread, different coloured thread on the back as well, and it just makes it look really cool. And that's where the thread, it wasn't as together, it wasn't as densely done, but I just think it looks really cool. Anyway, and what you can do is you can wrap a polystyrene ball in tin foil, and you can fold it round, and you can make like a bowl. You can make a little decorative bowl. So that's the first one anyway. I'm going to do the other ones with the different types of water soluble, the extra strong soluble and the Solya fleece, which is the best one. And I'm going to just have a think about what to do with them. I think I might make them in an extra video, because I think I do want to make a bowl. I'm just messing with it. I can feel it getting stiffer because it's some of the material is still on it. It's trial and error of how much you have to wash out. In the blog post I will sort out, I will give you resources of other people of what to do with the water soluble. There's a lovely lady in Australia, Meredith Woolnough. She only uses water soluble thread, like the thread. She doesn't do any fabric or anything. She's incredible. I've got a book. She's really cool. So if you're interested in more of this, definitely check her out, because she's fucking insane. She's brilliant. She does all like corals and different nature embroideries, and she puts them on sculpting and with the shadows and stuff. She's really cool. Anyway, I'm going to wash my hands because it's all sticky and gross, so I'll see you in the next bit. I can't decide if it's a new video or if it's just another section of this video for the different water solubles. So I'll see you in a minute anyway. Bye bye. So I hope you liked that video, and now you've got a lovely window catcher, sun catcher decoration anyway, and you can use it for anything you like. I'm going to hang mine up in my room, but you could also use it to put your cup on, put your pot on it. You could mould it around something and make a bowl. You know, you can do whatever you want with it. You could wear it as a badge for your birthday. It could be a hat. I don't know. I'm just gonna hang it up in my room, and that'll be really fun. Nice decorations. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I shall see you in the next one. Bye!